So again, thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. And this is good for you. We get to go over it. But ultimately, 8-point blocking system in the Shaolin Changfa is your Kung Fu. Changfa meaning fist law. Kempo is way of the fist or fist law. We've got an 8-point blocking system where we have our fists closed, and we have an 8-point blocking with open hands. We're going to go over both today, and we're going to work it so that we are primarily focusing on targeting. So without me talking too much, let me just start showing off about why we're doing what we're doing. Okay, you already have this. He doesn't, so we're going to go over it in the air once. Just do your best to mimic the movements. Okay, so find yourself on the white part of the circle. No, stay on the white part of the circle. Okay, there you go. Good. Okay, hands by the ribs. What we're dealing with here is an imaginary rectangle. Okay, an imaginary rectangle that goes to the top of our head, just above, and right below our midsection, or right below our groin, really, when it comes down to it. Okay, if someone tries to kick or grab low, we want to have low blocks. We do not need to move further than this type of hit detection. All right, and we'll explain that a little bit later. Now, every block that I do has multiple purposes. And a block can be a strike can be a block. Okay, so hands by the ribs for now, and I'll explain why we do this as well. Number one, I use on the left, especially if you're right-handed. It's awkward to start training on your left. Well, I throw you right into the deep end to begin with and have you start getting used to working lefty and righty. So number one on the left, you're going to make a half circle across, forearm and fist. Okay, go ahead, Alex. Half circle across. There's your first movement. Your second movement comes up and makes this circular movement. So if it's flowing, here you go. In a situation where you do not have to defend against down here, that is superfluous. It's not, doesn't need to be there. You can just simply make a smaller circle and block out. So whether number one in a big movement is, or just this, okay, depends on where they're attacking. And by meaning that, serve, stay where you are, I'll come to you guys, okay? If he was trying to grab my belt, there's your first move with 8-point. Now, I'll admit, wanting to hook this into my face is probably not the best idea. But if he was trying to punch me here, okay, and I had to block, okay, that's the idea. So you get used to one or the other. That's all. Makes perfect sense, at least in my world anyway. Okay? Stop me if you have questions, by the way. I want to know if you guys were a variation of something you see. Talk to me. This is open game for all of us. Okay? I'm just doing this primarily in the air for him. And then we'll work on the body. We'll all get to hit each other. Sound good? Sound good. Okay. Hands by the ribs. Number two block. Outward number two. Same thing. Hits the edge of where that imaginary rectangle would be. Doesn't have to go further than where your horse stance is. And continues the block. Good. Now, why do we do this instead of this? Okay? No clue?
Oh, I guess.
Well, I mean, they could, yeah, sure, they could hit you, throw yourself a beating, okay? Go ahead, do this. So your knuckles are to me, okay? Now, try not to let me move your hand. Okay? Even though you're trying. Try not to, it's just stronger. It's how we're built. It's our physiology, I should say. Okay? That's how we are built, and that's what makes it strong. Not to mention, everything we do hitting this is a hammer strike, whether it's a downward hammer strike, whether it's an outward hammer strike, an inward hammer strike, a reverse down low hammer strike. This is strong to hit with. It's not going to hurt the rest of you. Okay? So back to our ribs. Number one again, across, big movement. A block can be a strike can be a block. Not here. Knuckles to yourself. Knuckles to you. And number two, down, push, pull. Strike can be a block can be a strike. Where am I with this? Okay, I'll use it on you. Okay? If, for an example, you were going to try and take a front to knuckle to my chest, he throws a punch. Okay? A block. I blocked. By the time I saw this and I was in close, if he had committed and came in closer, that would have been to his jaw. Agreed? Agreed. Agreed. So a block can be a strike can be a block. It's really about targeting. if I don't see him and I'm over here and he goes to throw a punch here, okay, and that's what I get, the wrist or the forearm, well then the next move, nobody leaves their fist out like this, they bend the elbow, in which case here I am stepping in with my elbow to go ahead and make that counter punch. So it's not always a straight line. It could be a little bit of a circle, it could be a hook, but the concept is get inside their guard, let that elbow be your guide to go ahead and move, whatever it is. If it's a right cross, if it's a straight line, uppercut, change it, based on how you need to defend yourself. Let's move on. Number 3 and 4 are inward blocks. So sometimes I show by bringing my elbow up, because if you're in circle 0, when you're in real tight, okay, take that punch, okay, and try to hit my nose. I come up here. I'm in real place. Maybe I even came up, or maybe I'm shorter, and that elbow come up and I get his chin. Okay? So 3 and 4 in the simplest forms are, for you, Alex, making a muscle in front of you and dragging it across your face. Good. And again, 4, bring it up, crisscross, here. Okay? Same concept. Okay? If he tries to throw a punch, hit me here, okay, I'm here. This punch, hit me here. If I step forward, if he throws that punch there and I step forward, okay, it's the same movement. I just kept this hand up to guide, make sure I didn't get hit, but I went for a strike. So, block or strike, strikes or blocks. Easiest way to learn this. Let's move on. 5 and 6. 5 up, in front of your body. Not like this, off to the side, but in front. And when you're up front, curl. Use this hammer to strike. Aim for their chin. It's still going to block. Yep. And then push pull. You want to crisscross again. Aim for their chin with your hammer fist. Okay? He tries to grab my hair. Okay? By the time I see the hand, yeah, that's a good block. Okay? But if I can get in tight, go ahead again. If I can get in tight under that elbow and get my fist to his chin, you saw how he reacted. The idea is, even though he's shorter than me, I can drop, I can lunge, I can get in, okay? Concept work, just the concept and targeting. If we can't target, nothing matters, right? You could have a gun with all the bullets in it, miss the target.
Yeah.
What's the point? Throw it at him and run away. Okay? Again, horse stance, breathe out. 5 on the left hand, think about what you're doing while you're doing it. Push pull, 6. Good. Now if he is taller than you, okay, and he tries to hit that hammer strike on the top, okay, that's what I want to do. And hopefully you can slide right through. Okay? If you have good footwork to move off to the side. You never really want to stay in play. A guy this big, okay, you never want to stay in play inside guard. Yeah, he's stronger than me. But if he throws that hand, go ahead, and I can get over here, sidestepping him, that's fine. If he throws that hand, and I think he's throwing that hand, okay, I'm inside guard, keep your hand up, but then you can also get away from the side by rolling and keeping your hands back in, thus forcing him to turn. Concept work, back to horse, okay? Don't want to get too crazy on it now, okay? 7 and 8, opposite hand, opposite ear, block down. 8, same thing. Now, there's ways to go ahead and look at 7 and 8. I just demonstrated on you, I'll demonstrate on you. Okay? So if he was trying to grab my side, that's simply pretty easy. Okay? Block it. Okay? If he's throwing a front kick at me, okay, go ahead and block it. Now, well, the difference is, with a hammer strike, you can hit their ankle. You can hit their knee. Okay? If he's going to throw a front, honestly, I would rather get to the offside. So if he uses his right leg, go ahead, kick. I want to get off to there, forcing him to cross himself over. And by the time you see the foot, hammer strike, you'll probably get the ankle, or lunge in, sidestep, and smash that knee. No one likes it when you hit them in the knee or the ankle, and they weren't expecting it. Now granted, a kick, if they're fast, they're fast. You got to be faster. You got to see it coming. You got to know your timing. In a perfect world, it only works if you are fighting them, if they are fighting you. If you're sitting around trying to play with each other, well then, hey, you could probably buy each other a beer and just stop the whole process. But what we're dealing with here is timing and targeting, okay, and how to. Breathing out. Staying calm. If you're tense, your timing's off. If you're afraid, you're going to do something else, which is fine. No matter what, we're just dealing with 8-point blocking system and how to utilize it, how to target. So I don't want to get into scenarios and situations. We're just dealing with 8-point, because I could definitely go off on a tangent, and I don't want to.